The year is 79 AD, the place a Roman city near Vesuvius, and on that day, life changes forever when the volcano erupts. The devastation is unimaginable. Pumice and ash rain down on the city, burying it under a layer of debris. When the dust eventually settles, the Roman world knows that something cataclysmic has occurred. Pompeii and Herculaneum are gone. But did you know that this was not the first time that Vesuvius erupted? In fact, the Supervolcano had previously erupted 7 times, even once before the region was inhabited. But those eruptions were small fry compared to what happened next. In 1631, after centuries of dormancy, Vesuvius awoke with a vengeance. This time, its wrath would be felt by the Neapolitan city of Naples. The eruption is said to have been so loud that people in France heard it, and the effects were felt as far away as India. It was one of the deadliest eruptions in human history. And yet, despite all the destruction, some believe that Naples was lucky. You see, scientists now know that Vesuvius had even more power left in reserve. Its next eruption, which they predict will occur sometime in the next 2,400 years, could be much worse. It could be devastating enough to change the world. It could be a super eruption. We often hear about volcanoes like Mount St. Helens or Krakatoa, but these are small fry compared to the truly supervolcanoes that lie beneath our feet. And while we may never witness such an eruption in our lifetime, scientists have calculated that there are roughly 12 supervolcanoes around the world that could erupt at any time. So let's take a look at them here today. First, we have to define what makes a volcano a supervolcano. Well, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, it's pretty simple. A supervolcano is any volcano that has had an eruption magnitude of 8 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index or VEI. The VEI is a scale from 1 to 8 that estimates the relative magnitude of volcanic eruptions. And although there is no perfect formula for categorizing them, an eruption of magnitude 8 means that the volume of material ejected during the eruption was over 1,000 cubic kilometers. Eruptions of this size can affect the global climate and atmosphere. They can block sunlight and cause large climate shifts that last for years or even decades. One of the most well-known supervolcanoes in the world is Yellowstone National Park. Located in the northwest corner of the United States, Yellowstone is actually a supervolcano caldera. In other words, it's the remnant of a massive explosion that occurred in the past. Over the past 2 million years, the park has seen 3 super eruptions. These occurred at about 2.1 million years ago, 1.3 million years ago, and 640,000 years ago. What makes Yellowstone so dangerous is that it sits right along the boundary between the North American and Pacific plates. As these plates move, they can cause magma to rise up and erupt out of the ground. If that happens, the entire area could be devastated. The 640,000-year-old eruption at Yellowstone, for example, unleashed some 2,400 cubic kilometers of material. An eruption of that size today would pose a serious threat to much of the western United States. Yellowstone isn't the only supervolcano in the United States, however. In the state of California, there is another potential candidate. Long Valley Caldera is located near the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains, and if it were to erupt, it would be catastrophic. The Long Valley supervolcano has had 2 major eruptions in the past, one about 760,000 years ago, and another about 600,000 years ago. However, scientists believe that it could erupt again sometime in the next few 100,000 years. This eruption would be felt throughout the western United States and could potentially disrupt the global climate. Yellowstone and Long Valley may be located in the United States, but there are plenty of supervolcanoes in other parts of the world as well. For example, in Italy, just outside of Rome, you have the infamous Mount Vesuvius. As we discussed earlier, Vesuvius has had many eruptions over the years, but the real big one hasn't happened yet. Scientists believe that Vesuvius could erupt again within the next 2,000 years. And when it does, it will be devastating. Then we have Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. This volcano hadn't erupted in more than 300 years when it suddenly blew its top in 1991. The eruption was so powerful that it was visible from space, and the cloud of ash rose more than 20 miles into the sky. More than 800 people lost their lives and thousands more were injured. Ash covered more than 11,000 square kilometers of land. While this was a devastating eruption, it was nothing compared to what could happen in the future. Scientists believe that Pinatubo could erupt again sometime in the next 6,000 years. And when it does, it could be even more powerful. Of course, we can't forget about Mount Fuji in Japan. This iconic mountain is actually a stratovolcano, meaning that it's formed from layers of ash and lava. It also happens to be the highest peak in Japan. The volcano has had several major eruptions over the years, but the most recent one occurred in 1707. At the time, it was estimated that the eruption destroyed about 100 villages and killed nearly 20,000 people. Scientists believe that Mount Fuji could erupt again sometime in the next 30,000 years. And while that may seem like a long time from now, it's really not. Next up, we have Lake Kivu in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This lake is home to over 2 million people, but it's also sitting on top of a supervolcano. If this volcano were to erupt, the entire lake could be blown to bits. The eruption would also release carbon dioxide gas, which could cause massive damage in the surrounding area. Scientists don't know exactly when this might happen, but they believe it could be any time now. Now let's travel to New Zealand. Here we find White Island, also known as Wakari. The island is a tourist destination, but it's also the site of an active supervolcano. In 2019, the volcano erupted, killing 20 people. It was the deadliest eruption in the country's history. Scientists believe that White Island could erupt again at any time. Last but not least, we have the Taupo volcanic zone in New Zealand. This zone contains several active volcanoes, including Mount Ruapehu, which erupted in 2012. The eruption caused millions of dollars worth of damage, but luckily no one was hurt. Scientists believe that Mount Ruapehu could erupt again at any time and cause even more damage. So there you have it, some of the most dangerous supervolcanoes in the world. It's important to remember that these volcanoes are constantly changing and their behavior is unpredictable. Although the chances of a super eruption occurring in your lifetime are slim, it's always good to be prepared. Some of these supervolcanoes are dormant, meaning that they haven't erupted in a long time, but they could erupt again in the future. Others are active, meaning that they have erupted recently and could erupt again soon. No matter what type of volcano it is, it's important to respect them and take the necessary precautions. Volcanoes are one of the most powerful forces of nature, and they should be respected as such. They can destroy entire cities and even change the climate of our planet. But they are also a reminder of the awesome power of the natural world and the forces that shape our planet. If you want to learn more about volcanoes, we highly recommend checking out some of our other videos. We have covered everything from the eruption of Mount Pinatubo to the science behind volcanic eruptions. So there is something for everyone to learn. Thank you for watching, and we hope you learned something new. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing videos. Until next time.